Yep, popped A2 pulley. However, I'm not actually that upset about the fact that I may not be climbing anything meaningful for the next 4 months, which takes us till next year. But more about that later. The injury happened about 3 weeks ago. I'd had a good warm-up at home before heading out to the cliff. On the walk-in, I was using one of those Black Diamond forearm trainer things, which I've actually come to really like. I was just going bolt to bolt, hanging the drawers on sneaky old Fox, first lap up for the day, and just feeling good. I'd been out trying the route a couple of days earlier and was feeling quite good that I could knock this off today, and that would be the 3rd out of the 6 goals that I've had for the rest of the year for myself. However, as I was coming up into the last couple of moves before the anchor, I pull up into the undercling, which is kind of the last little crux, build my feet up, bang! I felt it go, I heard it go, and I just knew straight away that something was very, very wrong. There was no foot slip or loss of tension or anything weird going on, it just went pop. Back on the ground after kind of 1.5-handedly stripping the drawers, I couldn't lift my keys without eye-watering pain, and opening my drink bottle involved sticking it under my arm. On the way home from the cliff, I went round to a friend's house who's a physio, and he had a look and thought, yeah, doesn't look great, but let's come back and we'll reassess it in a week's time to get a clearer picture after everything kind of settles down. A week later, I see Lee at the Move Clinic, and he's having a feel around and doing that assessment. And it does look like the A2 has torn. There's a bit of bowstringing in the tendon, and I really can't put that much weight through it. We did a test on the Tindeck to see how much weight I could put through the finger to a point where it was pretty uncomfortable, but not like that next level. And I got to 1.5 kilos, and then Lee said for the next one, like, let's push it up to the point where it's like really, really pissed off, and I got to 2 kilos. Which was an improvement from not being able to lift my keys, but it's obviously a very small amount. Rehab is pretty simple at this point. Basically, like when I'm driving to work, a full crimp on the steering wheel for 30 seconds to a point that it's like, yeah, pretty painful, but not epic. And just hold that for 30 seconds, rest for 30 seconds, hold it for 30 seconds, rest for 30 seconds. I do it 4 times, and I do it in the morning and in the evening. So it's just trying to build it back up and do, I don't know, physiology stuff. I don't understand it, but I'm just gonna keep on doing it. But as I said at the beginning, I'm actually not that upset about this for 2 reasons. Number 1, I like balance in my life, and I've got other things that really fill in my life outside of climbing, and my happiness isn't dictated by whether I'm climbing well or not, or even if I am climbing or not. Earlier this year, I really dove deep into trail running, which was something that I never thought that I would do, but I found a lot of satisfaction and enjoyment, and just being a bit of a noob again at a whole new sport, and it's been really fun, and so I get to shift my focus to that again now. And there's a couple of races that I've signed up for the end of the year, and actually the afternoon that I did it, I knew this was going to be bad. I messaged a friend and said, hey, I've got 13 weeks until the Kosciuszko 30k trail running race. Do you want to write me a training program? And I'm deep into that now. Having something positive that you can shift your energy and focus onto so you're not ruminating on what has been lost is a massive win. And I'm really enjoying that with the trail running. And number 2, if you remember in one of my last videos, I said, however, whether I achieve these goals or not is not going to be the determining factor for whether or not I feel regret or disappointment at the end of the year. Ultimately, for me, it's about feeling like I've shown up and I've done the work and I've put myself in a position to achieve these goals. And I really feel quite happy with the fact that I was marching in that direction. I'd knocked off Wisdom of the Crowd Sit, I'd knocked off the Red Project, and was feeling really good about getting Sneaky Old Fox done that day. But I feel happy with the fact that I did give myself the opportunity to even just do those couple of things that I did do. In a couple of weeks' time, I've got another appointment with Lee where we are going to check back in, see how it's progressing. It is honestly feeling a lot better because there's a couple of things around the house that I do, like putting the dog's water bowl down. It doesn't hurt so much anymore when I do that, which for me is a positive. Like, pouring milk out of the carton, it doesn't hurt as much anymore. And there's just these little goals along the way, or little kind of stepping stones that are like, ooh, sweet. Felt good this morning. Honestly, I'm not really sure how or why this came about. I felt like I'd been pretty good with my rest and recovery. I was eating well, I'm hydrated, felt like I was doing all of the things, and it still just happened. So I'll still continue to think about it, and maybe it was just that there was a kind of cumulative thing over the last little while that was building up. I had been smashing pretty hard on the tension board for a while, and probably having sessions that were just that little bit too long because I was just excited and didn't hold myself back, and probably found myself at about that 2.5 hour mark continuing to push on ratty little edges, and I probably needed to pull it back to about a 90-minute session, and perhaps that just little cumulative effect over a while was ready to go. The injury is a bummer. The last few months of my climbing has felt so free and awesome, and perhaps the best I've ever felt in my climbing mentally and physically ever. And to miss out on having more of that is a bit of a bummer, but the rocks will remain, and my psyche is only going to build. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.